I have always been intimidated by the praise cam, so I guess that means I have to do it. I'm Bex, and if any of you know me, and by the way, I'm like reading from something so I don't totally stutter. You probably know that I've recently had a rough few years. I wasn't an actual Christian until about 3 years ago, and that's when things started getting worse for me. Because it felt like all of a sudden, I was thrown into this world where everything I thought was good turned out to be bad. It scared me because I didn't want to change, but I really didn't want to go to hell. That was my motivation. Then I heard something that changed that. Ronnie told us that God forgives us for every sin, no matter how big. From that, I got that we can sin all we want, and thank God for His awesome mercy later. Makes perfect sense, right? Yeah. I sat there thinking about how amazing God was, that He would let us do anything we wanted if we just apologized to Him for it. So, of course, after that, I just started doing whatever I wanted and justifying it perfectly. But as I continued going to church, I heard about this thing called a personal relationship with Christ. Yeah. We're supposed to be like friends, me and Jesus. So, if I'm supposed to be best friends with Jesus, then what does He think about me totally ignoring what He says is right? That's not a friendship. That's politics. He was standing right behind me, with open arms, weeping as I stared at the ground, thoroughly convinced I could see Him, but all I saw was His shadow. I almost killed myself this January, because I was still shackled to the belief that anything I did was fine, because I was already free through Christ. But I didn't feel free. I actually felt worse than ever. So I didn't see a point in living. I had my suicide letter written, and I was laying in bed when a thought struck me. I loved God's mercy. I loved that He forgave me. I realized exactly what I was missing. Heaven isn't reserved for people who love God's mercy. It's reserved for people who love God for His mercy. We have to love Him. I think we get so caught up in thinking about how great mercy is that we miss the point of it by forgetting who's giving it to us. It's our God who's giving it to us. I really love what Scott said, that our rocks aren't who we are, because we're called to something greater than that. We're not called to dwell on fighting our sin. We're called to love. After that, freedom from sin just follows.